All right, first question of the night. Something you love as a coach, but not so much as a player, or vice versa.
Something I love as a coach, but not much as a player. The vice versa is probably the thing that gets me, the grind. The opportunity as a coach, I love every chance I can get for our kids to get better. So I want to do 10 a days if I could. You know, like I want every chance I can get to get better. As a player, you're just like, no more. I don't want no more. Like I'm tired. We've been clanging for 2 weeks. Like,
Right.
Like I'm just done. But as a coach, man, I want to go practice. I want to go practice all day, every day. If we could practice for 10 hours, I could. But
Sure.
And let's see on the other end, like I guess it's still on the same end. But as a coach, I hate homecoming.
Okay.
and I don't hate homecoming in that sense. It's just a lot of distractions. As a player, it's awesome. Like that's the week you get to do all the cool stuff. You're dressing up at school. Like you get parades, you get floats, you get, the big crowds, and you get families coming in. It's really cool as a player. As a coach, you're just like, oh my gosh, there's just everything in the world's pulling my kids away from what you're trying to focus them in. So
what do you think about pep rallies? Is that like the happy medium where you're okay with both?
I like pep rallies if they're done right.
As a coach and a player?
Yeah, I don't mind them as a coach. I really don't. Just don't ask me to talk. Yeah,
keep it minimal.
And our kids are pretty good. I wouldn't say they're great. I wouldn't say they're horrible, but they're right. They could do better, but I've seen worse. So, I wish they could get up a little bit more. Especially the younger, the underclassmen. They just kind of are like, heck yeah, I get out of class for 30 minutes. I'm gonna go sit with my friends. But I think as a player, I loved the pep rallies. When we were at Goddard, pep rallies were awesome. Everyone got involved, and it was people standing on each other's back, and it was fun.
Right.
So I wish they would get back to those, and I've seen some of those old video clips of like the 2000 year and stuff when they would have the downtown pep rallies. Mm-hmm. This whole town was going crazy. Everyone was there. They're singing the fight song, and like,
what happened to that?
I don't know. I want it back though, because that's high school football, and that's a community that loves their football program, and I just wish that everyone was that way. I know, and I get it. Like, they were playing for state championship, but it's I just wish that community support was, and I'm not saying it's bad, but was like that, because I looked at those. I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome. And it was everybody and their dog. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but go YouTube the 2000. I think it's 2000. And they got some really cool highlights, and it's cool.
So let's look into this camera right here. And I want you to look into that camera right there, and I want you to say, I need you to get up at the pep rallies.
I need you to get up at the pep rally, boys and girls.
All right, guys, we are here on week 6. This is a bye week. Here with Coach Cale Sanders once again. And we're going to start off with, this part of the podcast, with it being a lot of rivalry games happening last week in college football, a lot of rivalry games kind of in this time. So I wanted to give you you have to absolutely pick one.
Okay.
If you can handle it. You think you got it?
I could pick one.
Georgia, Florida.
Georgia.
Okay. Alabama, Auburn.
Alabama.
Okay. Army, and this is by you liking them, by the way.
Okay.
But, Army, Navy.
Then I changed my answer to Auburn.
Okay.
Because I can't stand Alabama.
Sure.
But they're solid.
Yeah.
Everyone hates the Yankees, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So
Army, Navy.
Ooh, I'd have to say Army.
Okay.
I'd have to say Army.
USC, UCLA.
Oh. Can they both have their bus break down on the way to the game and not make it?
You're not a fan of either.
Neither one of them.
Not a Los Angeles guy.
Nah, I'm not a Cali guy.
North Carolina, Duke.
Ooh, North Carolina.
Okay. Texas, Oklahoma. I feel like this one's an easy answer.
That's a slam dunk. That's the horns all day.
Michigan, Ohio State.
Oh, Michigan all day.
Okay.
And Ohio State's just as bad as Alabama.
Okay, really? That bad? Okay.
Yeah.
And then last and most important, NMSU, UNM.
Ooh. I don't really have any ties there. I mean, I would probably say at this point, and forgive me, but it's probably UNM just because I got some buddies coaching there.
This podcast is now over. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Good night.
All right. So, and why is that, you said?
One of my really good friends, Coach Ridenauer, he was at Cleveland.
Okay.
He was my college quarterback. He's he's on the staff at UNM now.
Okay.
So.
All right. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But my sister went to New Mexico State, so like I guess I got some ties both ways.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't hate or love either one of them. So.
All right. So to get to the Division I level, to be in those types of programs, a lot of what you do is hard work, right? Being good enough. Talent is great, but also being good in the classroom. You have to get certain grades to get to that point unless you go another route. What is something that you push to your players about classroom etiquette?
So if you ask my kids, they probably hate it that I'm such a stickler on grades. Because honestly, there's a huge chance, I'm talking 99% chance, that you're going to use your education in life more than you're going to use your football.
Sure.
And so that education is going to last you forever. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's part of the discipline of the program too. It's, kids can't just show up and think that they're a football player and they can just slide by. And I tell them every day, you wear that caveman across your chest, like you're held to higher standards. Yeah. And you have to act better in class. You have to have better grades. You have to do everything above and beyond a normal average student. And that's kind of part of it though, right? Because I tell them every day, y'all what y'all do is special. Like you're special people. You're not normal. You got to understand that.
Right.
And, and it's not bad. It's being wanted to be held to a higher standard should be everybody's
goal. It should
goal.
be an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I just tell those kids that, if you got to stick on your grades, so during the spring, we don't harp on it too much right now. We still do. We actually talked about it yesterday in our team meeting with the coaches, but they'll do position grade checks and they'll check all the grades. But in the spring, we check grades once a week. Okay. And we have a good grades list, and we go out there and we celebrate those guys that have good grades, and we try to post that on social media and get that out there because we're proud of them.
Yeah.
And we also don't post a bad grades list, but it gets posted in the field house. And, so those kids, they have mandatory study halls. So they don't get to go out in the spring and go in the field and do 7-on-7 and learn. So you're actually getting behind in football because you're getting behind in the grades.
Sure.
And we are student athletes. It's not athlete students. We're student athletes. So
100%.
Student comes first.
Yeah.
So grades are big in my program. And I wasn't like a scholar by any means.
Sure.
But they're important.
Yeah.
Crazy important.
And then what about classroom behavior? How do you kind of enforce that? You need to respect your teachers. You need to be better.
Absolutely, same thing. As we're gonna harp on that. I tell them, you're on time because that's one of our biggest problems. You've been in the classroom, these kids just kind of stroll in whenever they want,
Right.
And so I tell them you're on time, and you sit in the front of the class, and you give that teacher the utmost respect. And if you do that, and turn your grades in, you're gonna pass. Like it's that simple. If you do that, you're going to be okay. And that's just what I preach, and I say it almost about every other time that we break it out when I talk to them. Go to class, make sure you're not late, especially after football. Going to second hour, there's a break there. They got to take a shower and they go eat breakfast. I'm like, don't be late to second hour because there's a lot of people in that school, and rightfully so, that if anything that happens, good or bad, with a football player, I get an email, and which I'm thankful for because I want to know. But that just reiterates the fact that there's eyes on you, and it's never little Johnny. It's a football player.
Right. Yeah.
So you're guilty by association. So if I do it, the rest of the team is basically brought into it, and it reflects on the coaches too. So I want my kids to be just perfect little scholars and get the class. Yeah. yeah. And of course they're not. But that's the goal, right? So and if we just keep preaching it and that becomes the norm and that's what it's expected, then it should be. And I think they were a little shell shocked because we hadn't done that in the past. And so if you have Fs, if you have an F, I take your phone in the morning.
Oh, okay.
And I put it in a little gray box and I lock it up, and you get it back after 7th hour.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's those things are like they don't know what to do without their phone because they just walk around like little zombies all day. And so I think that's been they get the grades up pretty quick. It's crazy how it works.
yeah. When they want something.
When their phone's gone, they want to make sure they get that sucker back.
All right, so the loss to Roswell was pretty tough. I wanted to kind of ask you a little bit about that team. Do you think they're better than Artesia? The same or not as good?
I'm going to have to eat my words because I think I said last week I thought they were a better football team. After being on the field with them, I don't think they're as good as Artesia.
Okay.
They're stinking close, though. That's a really good football team. That defense is probably one of the better defenses that we'll face all year. And that's including the Volcano Vistas. And, I haven't seen Centennial yet, but, as far as being on the field with them. But
yeah,
they were solid. And they had some guys, and they flew around, and they're stingy, and they're just gritty, like I had said. And that's exactly what they did. I think we came out really good. And,
yeah,
and even talking to the Roswell High coaches after the game, they're like, man, no one's done that to us. Like, you came out and you schemed us really good, and you jumped on us. And of course, we go and we'd make some mistakes. And the consistency, that's what we got to work on. That's what we're going to spend the bye week on is getting consistent. And there's glimpses of some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hope, but we're halfway through the year, so we got to kind of curb a lot of that.
Sure.
We going to be good, or freshman mistakes or sophomore mistakes. Like, some of that stuff's just going to have to start going away.
Yeah. And right now it's more along the lines of like almost exhibition matches, right? You're playing these games. They're not going towards your district record. You really have to lock it down in the coming, week, right? You got a bye week, then you move into district.
Yeah, we have a bye week, and then we have a short week. I say a short week. We play on Thursday. So it's actually good because a bye week it's almost too much.
You said you play on a Thursday?
Yeah, we play next Thursday night.
Why is that?
You want the real answer or the?
I don't know. I can't even tell right now.
Well, I was told it was the refs. They couldn't get refs.
Okay.
But that was also told to me in June. So it's like,
that's
you couldn't find.
pretty...
Yeah, you couldn't go to another. I don't know what they call them, divisions or whatever for the refs.
Right.
And to get a crew out of Albuquerque.
So it was more out
something.
of convenience, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think there might be a bit. Gus Macker tournament going on there on Saturday.
Interesting.
So
okay,
they might need the parking lot maybe. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
But
all right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
knowing in June,
I don't hate it.
That.
I don't hate it because it's one of those things where the bye week stretches out anyways. There's a point where it's like, okay, cool, get some rest, and then the other part is like they start getting
restless
antsy
almost.
and
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just rather just go. I don't like bye weeks. They're kind of like homecoming.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me like this would almost work out better for you guys, and I'm not a part of it, so and you can tell me. But you get a bye week, you have a short week off the bye week, and then you have a long week.
A mini bye. Yeah, it's like a mini bye. Yeah, so coming after that. Yeah, and it's good. And we have another Thursday. And I'm not sure. It's Cruces High, so we'll go to Oregon Mountain. Will come here that Friday after that, so we get an extra day, which is good. An extra day is because I know what it feels like on the other end, playing on a Saturday, and then on Friday you lose a day, and for us as coaches, it's that day's important. Like that's a prep day. That's a whole day we lose to scouting, and I ask the coaches to do a lot. We break down film, and we're breaking down every play, and we're inputting enormous amounts of information into the computer, and it takes a long time to do that. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the bye week is good and bad when it comes to that.
So at the half against Roswell, down 28-7. We always wonder. We talk about it on the broadcast. What is Coach Sanders going to tell his team? We guess. Yeah. What do you tell your team at that point to keep them in, keep them engaged, or even just building?
Yeah, so we brought them in, and no one was mad or angry. We understood like who we were playing and what's going on. And my deal with the halftime speech Friday night was just like, calm down. One, you've proven to the state that you could play with these guys because no one's done that to them. Everyone's got a slop fourth quarter. Last 2-minute touchdown on them. No one's taking the opening drive and just tink, 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 tink.
Sure.
So, there's the wide eye needs to go away. Now we just got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. And that's what we did. We had, intentional groundings. We had some holding penalties. We had we ran option and we put it on the ground and lost 15. That's just little stuff that it's hard to dig out, especially against a good football team. And, like I said, we almost have to play a perfect football game to hold our own against someone like that. And we didn't do that. So we just got to stop doing those, silly stuff that's creating us or, behind the chains. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah. Do you have a routine when you go into the locker room at any halftime? Is it I talk? Coach, do you have anything? That's like the usual thing. Hey, you guys, blah, blah, blah. Coach, you got anything?
Yeah, I let the kids get in, get off their feet, get something to drink. With being at home, we give them extended. We get 20-minute halves because of the construction and where those guys are at. They're over there at the baseball, so they got an extra 5 minutes of walking time. So we get an extra half. So we usually first thing we do is let the kids get in there. Coaches go off and we go into the office. And if we need to make corrections or look at that's a lot. We spend probably about 5 or 6 minutes gathering our thoughts and making adjustments. And then I let them go talk to their position coaches, and then me and Widener will talk and go over anything we need to go over. And then I kind of just let them hang out and relax and just, I'm not that guy that's going to go running through the locker room and throwing, Gatorade bottles and, it's one of those. And then so at the very end, when we got 2 or 3 minutes left, I'll pull them together. I'll talk to them. But if it's offensively, if something needs to be addressed, I'll address it to the, all the skill kids. And then Coach Perez will take the linemen. And so that's kind of the plan. It's not really, I wouldn't say we had it all mapped out, but that's just kind of how it's always worked out. So we got to get our ideas together and then we disperse it to the kids.
Last week was Military Appreciation Night. How did you think the fans took it? Did they show up pretty well?
It seemed like it was good. I didn't, I was pretty in the zone. I felt really good about that game and going into it. I think that, the kids coming out with the American flags, and then we had the helicopter fly over, and we had 2 honorary captains. And there was a lot of camo. I saw some camo. Our kids even kind of camoed up a little bit, which I'm not a huge fan of that, but for military appreciation, I'm okay with it.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's one of those things that I think the fans are still hanging on. So just please keep it up, guys.
Right.
Yeah, keep it up. Don't give up on us because the heart of the season starts now.
Yeah, so. No, absolutely. This is where it's crunch time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys had gear as well, right? On the sidelines, you guys had some. How did you guys get a hold of that?
Well, we had searched, and then we were looking probably midsummer when we first kind of determined, when homecoming game was, when was the pool party game, and the whiteout, and all that stuff. And
I was wondering why you guys were wearing floaties on the first game.
Yeah, it was pool party, I guess. Yeah,
yeah.
It was
you
pool
guys,
party.
As coaches, were wearing floaties and had rubber ducks. It was weird.
I was going to see if Widener wanted to wear. But, so when we did that, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be military appreciation. So, all right, go out. Let's go find some really cool camo polos, and we'll put the silhouette on it. Couldn't find them. Couldn't find them. And everything we found was like already branded with like Iowa State or something. Like they're really cool. And so we almost gave up on it. And then I actually talked with our rep at BSN, and he's like, I got one company that custom makes polos. He said, but you're going to have to order them like in the next 4 hours because the ship date. And we actually, I got handed the box at the pep rally. I don't know if you saw me with that box.
Yeah.
That was the box.
Oh, cool.
So that's how crunch line it was to get those.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, it was cool. I thought it was cool for us to show our support too. And, we're coaching and teaching. And we all, we get to basically coach a kid's sport and hang out with kids and play football because, those guys that have served. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Mucho respect for anybody that served.
Yeah, for sure. And coming up, the next theme when we come back from Alamogordo, you said we're playing
Oregon Mountain.
And
that'll be our
night,
pink out game. That'll be our cancer awareness game.
Very cool.
And that one I got the mixed emotions about, because I feel like the only people that make any money off that is Adidas and Nike and all the people that sell the swag. And I'm not sure how much of that money actually goes back to.
That's a good point.
So, we give the kids a wristband, a pink wristband, and I don't care where you put it, but this is all you get.
Okay.
And it's not a knock against cancer. I lost my dad to cancer, so I've been pleased, don't bring the cancer. I hate it just as much as anybody else. But, it's almost become a retail gamut of
right. That's a good point.
So I
never
just
thought of it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think weird, but
makes sense.
Yeah, so the kids get a wristband and they can put it wherever they want, and that's what they get. But we do some really cool stuff. We donate. I know last year, and we'll do it again this year, but we donated X amount of money for every touchdown scored to Faith, Hope, and Love.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. During the bye week, there's additional rest. We know that. What other perks come with that, if anything? Rest
for us.
Yeah.
Because, that first 5 weeks is a grinder for us. It's
as coaches.
Yeah, as coaches, yeah. So we get a little bit of rest. It gives us an opportunity to evaluate ourselves, and that's what we were actually doing yesterday. And I'm not looking at Alamo as much as I'm looking at myself right now, going in there trying to find my own tendencies. And we found some stuff like, hey, like this is what they're seeing, and this is what. And
that's hard to do. Look back at yourself and not try and think, okay, I'm being crafty. I'm showing my hand sometimes.
And as of today, we're 49% run, 51% pass. And I wanted to be right at on that line. So I guess I missed it by 1%. But that's and then there's some other tendencies in there that defensive guys, if you know how to work the computer, like they're going to pull it up real quick. They're going to see it. So that we start building in some tendency breakers, and we got an extra week. We can start to throw some more wrinkles into stuff, but most part is just get better at what we're doing.
By tendencies, you're talking about possibly I run this play, and then I usually follow it up with this or this play type of tendencies?
Or on, you can do it by down or distance. You can do it by hash. You can do it by sideline. Like I know last year when we pulled all of our stuff, I was a big time. I like to run the ball to the short side. I like to run it to my boundary. And that's gone completely out of the window. But yeah, so that you can pick up on stuff subconsciously when I'm calling plays. There's just stuff that I like.
Yeah.
That turn into patterns at some point, right? So when it's it's crunch time and I need a play, like I'm not worried about what hash it's I am, but I'm like, okay, this is what I like. Well, I've probably went back to that several times throughout the year, and so you just get habits, and every coach has it, and every coach there's a tendency somewhere. You just got to find it, and some of those guys are really good at finding it. So and it's little stuff like where the backs are at. We might just change a back or change our little sniffer back to the other side and block it. It's just little stuff that people pick up on.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Do you guys do any scouting on bye week? Or is it mostly online now?
It's a lot of
it's not much in person.
It's so we actually had a conversation with the assistant coach today about that. Let's take a look, and we're going to do that today. We didn't get to it, but I was going to look at our master schedule and see if there was anything going on Friday night to go, see someone live. But the thing is our district all has the same bye. So everyone that we're fixing to play is off. I think Centennial might be different, but other than that, everyone's got the same bye. So if we wanted to go watch Hobbs, well, they're wanting to come see it.
Right, yeah.
Everyone's off, so it doesn't really help us too much.
Okay.
So it's a lot of film, though. You can log on there and you can pull up every single game that's played in New Mexico by week, and we can pull it up and we can look. And
we need to look into getting you guys access to the movie theaters after hours and just getting it on the biggest
throw
screen
it up
possible.
There. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Be sweet.
That'd be cool. Maybe they got that in the works for the new field house. Maybe it's I know there's a meeting room in there, and I don't know if it's stadiumed or not, but
because right now you guys watch your film. Actually, I don't even know.
Yeah,
because it used to be this huge. Yeah. It was.
That's gone.
Okay.
That was gone. So they turned that into the locker room, the old locker room.
Yeah.
So they turned that just into a straight locker room.
Okay. Because that was I think they were 20-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
And so then you had room.
Mm-hmm. So that's now we're in the portables, the village.
So do you guys have to separate?
We do. We have a separate portable. It's two of those construction portables, and it's split in half. I say it's split in half, but it's big enough to split a large number of kids in there. And that's where we actually go in at half.
Okay.
We don't actually go into the locker room because there's no place to meet in the locker room. But inside there's small meeting rooms for 8 to 10 kids. So the O-line group will go in there, or I'll take the quarterbacks and the running backs. And we have a couple little meeting rooms, but as far as big meeting spaces, it's pretty limited right now. But we get it done. We make it work. It's not the end of the world.
All right. So last question for you. How do you keep kids... Or this week, like I said, bye week, how do you keep kids out of trouble on Friday night when they're used to playing football, they get an extra day, keep them out of trouble or encourage them, or do you say anything?
No, we don't straight up say like, don't go do this. Like, I think it's kind of understood, like
Sure.
you're bought into this, and 6:30 practices every morning helps that. It keeps them off the streets at night, and they're tired.
Is that on Saturday too?
No, it's not on Saturday. We're actually going to give them Saturday off.
Okay.
So we're going to give them Saturday and Sunday off because we usually come up on Sunday, watch film and stuff. So we're going to give them some rest. And that's part of the bye week. But honestly, and I can't speak for every one of them. There's always, outliers. But our kids are good. And, like they've paid a pretty big price to be where they're at. And it's hard for me to fathom that, they're just going to go just mess that up just because they got a free Friday night. And if you're truly bought in, then you don't want to do that anyways. You got your whole life to do that. You got 5 weeks left in your high school career to play football. Just buy in for 5 weeks, and the younger guys, they have to buy in and they got to play for those seniors. And we had that conversation with the kids today is, I don't want this mentality. We're going to be good in a couple of years. Like, you need to be good right now for those, 11 seniors because they only got 5 left. You got, 25 left. Like, you need to play for them because you're going to expect those sophomores to play for you when you're a senior. So
absolutely.
And they get it. Like, so that's kind of how we approach that stuff. And I don't think, that hasn't been an issue with this football team.
Sure.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Thanks again.
Yes,
appreciate you. Always a pleasure. And, hopefully you guys get good rest this week.
Yeah, I hope so too.